Welcome back, everyone. In the love and light of the One Infinite Creator, we're ready for our deep dive today.
Yes, and we're jumping into session 37 of the Law of One. It's a really rich one.
Absolutely. We know many of you want to get right to the heart of these concepts, and session 37, well, it really delivers. We'll be going question by question.
Right. We'll cover the challenges they've faced sharing this material, the nature of the higher self, which is fascinating, and spiritual mass too.
It's genuinely a beautiful session, very insightful. So let's start right at the top. Question 1. The seeker asks, quite simply, is Ra familiar with the results of our efforts today to publish the first book that we did?
And Ra's response, I am Ra. This is correct. Boom. Just like that.
Yeah, it's so immediate, isn't it?
It really is. It shows this constant awareness Ra has of what the group is doing, their intentions, their actions, no lag time, just connection.
Sets the tone, definitely.
Sure.
Which leads right into the second question. The seeker brings up the difficulty of getting the law of one out there.
Especially to wanderers, those souls who are supposedly here from higher densities to help out.
Right. And the seeker wonders if maybe some extra material might be needed to help with that dissemination. Raja says, it is possible.
Which is interesting. Not a yes, not a no, but it opens the door. It acknowledges the challenge the seeker is pointing out. How do you share something this profound?
Exactly. And that's what the third question is about. The seeker asks Ra to comment on these challenges. Ra starts by talking about the intensive nature of the group's selection for this work.
Okay, intensive nature. What are we thinking that means, it sounds like? Serious dedication.
Definitely. And Ra highlights the sacrifices each member made for no tangible result. That's key, isn't it? The results weren't, material things.
No, it was spiritual service. And Ra mentions this harmonious group forming at the apex of sacrifice. It suggests their combined selfless intention created this powerful resonance.
And that specific resonance, Ra says, was rare. It was crucial for the contact.
Yeah, it wasn't about being special individuals, but about that specific energy they created together. A kind of purity.
Right. And then Roll talks about their honored duty to offer precise concepts, the aim, to unify things, to show the connections.
That's the core of the Law of One, really, seeing the unity behind everything.
And then there's this lovely reassurance. Ra tells the group and us listening that how we use this information is totally up to us. Rely on your intuition, basically.
No pressure, just invitation. It's about inner knowing, not blind faith. So important.
It really is. And Ra adds their content if even one person is helped in their evolution. And the group had already done more than that. It values every single journey.
Such a beautiful perspective. Every step matters.
Okay, question 4. Here the seeker voices a concern, maybe a hesitation, about asking questions that might seem trivial or too specific.
Yeah, like worrying it might lower the quality of the contact. They talk about this pressure to maybe add fluff for broader appeal versus sticking to the deep, non-transient stuff about evolution.
It shows real sensitivity to the process. And Ra confirms their understanding the level of the contact depends on the level of the questions asked.
Right. If you keep asking for specifics that aren't universally helpful, it can be, as Rob puts it, deleterious to the main purpose.
And then Ra brings up the language. They acknowledge the criticism that their way of speaking isn't always simple, lucid prose.
Which is something people still talk about. But Ra explains their focus is on maximum accuracy and nuance, conveying these complex ideas precisely.
So the intricate language comes from trying to be as accurate as possible about things that are hard to put into our words.
Exactly. It's a trade-off. Absolute clarity versus easy reading. Ra chose clarity for the information's sake.
Makes sense. And again, Ra kindly reminds the group that decisions about sharing the material are theirs and Ra will remain available. Very respectful.
Very. Okay, question 5 shifts gears. It's about a practical plan.
Right. The seeker outlines an idea to write a book about UFOs as an entry point to the Law of One.
Because, UFOs get attention, and the Law of One connects them to the Confederation and the evolution process.
So the idea was to use the UFO topic, which the Confederation kind of advertised, to draw people in and then introduce the deeper Law of One concepts.
Yeah, weaving in actual raw material from earlier sessions to explain things like evolution, the Confederation's role. It's a strategic approach.
Acknowledging that the full transcripts might be, well, a bit much for newcomers.
Definitely. And Ray's response is just brilliant. We hope that your raw plans materialize. This is a cosmic joke.
Ah, yes. It's that humor the seeker asked about earlier.
It really is. Ra's pointing out the irony, maybe, trying to share these profound cosmic truths using a topic often seen as fringe or sensational. It is kind of funny in a cosmic way.
It shows a great sense of perspective from Ra, and then they just encourage the group to proceed with their plans as best they can. A gentle nudge forward.
Exactly. Now, question 6 takes us deep into metaphysics, the higher self.
Ah, yes. The seeker asks, does the higher self evolve too? Does it have its own higher self further up the chain?
Big questions about the structure of consciousness.
Ah.
Ross says they'll try to simplify it, which is helpful.
Always appreciate that. So how do they define it?
Okay, the higher self is described as a manifestation, a gift, given to the late 6th density self from its future self in mid-7th density.
Whoa, okay. So your future, more evolved self reaches back through time to give your 6th density self this resource, this higher self.
Kind of like that, yeah.
A gift from your future potential. And the 6th density self then uses its own experiences, its living bank, plus this incredibly complex pattern or totality gifted from 7th density.
A lot to wrap your head around.
It is. But Ra gives this great analogy. Picture your current self, your higher self or oversoul, and your total self complex as points on a circle.
Okay.
The only real difference between them is the perspective within time and space. Fundamentally, Ra says they are the same being. Wow. So it just dissolves that linear view. It's all aspects of the one self, just experienced differently across time.
Precisely. Different points on the journey of the same consciousness.
That's powerful. Okay, question 7 builds on that. Does each person have their own mind-body-spirit complex totality, or is it shared?
Another great question about individual versus collective, and Ra says both are correct, depending on the context.
Okay, how does that work?
Well, each individual does have their own unique totality, but when beings on a planet evolve into a social memory complex, like a unified planetary consciousness,
Like where Earth is heading, maybe.
potentially, at that point, the entire group, the social memory complex, also has its own oversoul, its own collective totality as a resource.
So you have your individual totality and you become part of a larger group totality.
Exactly. And crucially, Ross states, the sum, spiritually speaking, is greater than the sum of its parts.
Synergy. The whole is more than just adding up the individuals.
Yes. The oversoul of that collective isn't just individual oversouls added together. Ra uses the analogy of squares or doubling. It implies an exponential leap in potential, in consciousness, through that unity.
That really emphasizes the power of coming together, of collective evolution. Okay, question 8. The seeker thanks Ra and asks for the definition of spiritual mass.
And Ra notes this will be the last full question, so it feels significant.
It does. So what is spiritual mass, according to Ra?
Ra defines it as that quality which starts to attract the vibrations of beingness towards the creator, towards the great central sun or core of existence, like a spiritual gravity.
Okay, so as a being gains spiritual substance,
Yeah.
light, understanding, it develops this natural pull, this attraction back towards the source.
That's a good way to put it. It's the inherent gravity of consciousness drawing itself towards unity, towards the infinite creator, a natural momentum towards oneness.
Beautiful concept. And finally, question 9, just a simple, caring question.
Yeah, the seeker asks if anything can be done to make the instrument more comfortable or improve the contact, just showing that care for Carla, the instrument.
Really thoughtful. And Ra's reply,
So simple, so perfect. All is well.
just, all is well. Nothing more needed.
It's a wonderful affirmation of balance. And then Ra gives their closing, leaving the group in the power and peace of the one infinite creator, Adonai.
Adonai. And that brings us to the end of our exploration of session 37. We've touched on the dedication needed for this kind of service, the nuances of sharing wisdom.
The amazing structure of the self and the higher self across densities and that fundamental pull of spiritual mass toward the creator.
It really is a session filled with such beauty and, honestly, positivity. Lots of profound ideas presented with real clarity and love.
Absolutely. It reinforces that interconnectedness and the potential within each of us.
So, as a final thought for everyone listening, maybe reflect on your own connection to your higher self, that wiser future you. Is it offering guidance? And how does that idea of spiritual mass resonate with your own journey? That pull toward unity, toward source.
A lovely reflection to carry forward. We are all indeed connected.
Namaste. I am you, and you are me.